to welcome you all today to this council meeting. My name is Zach Tipping, Maribyrnong City Council member. I'm here today to conduct a council meeting regarding the future development of Footscray and the processes which can be implemented to achieve growth. Footscray is fast becoming a key inner Melbourne destination. Located only 5 kilometres west of Melbourne's central business district and on the banks of the Maribyrnong River, it is becoming a highly sought after inner urban location to not only live but to work and also invest. Formerly an industrial and logistics hub, Footscray is currently veering away from its traditional working class identity. Footscray's streetscape is currently changing, with significant apartment developments now defining the skyline and new commercial and retail developments under construction and in the planning process. Boasting a strong transportation link, Footscray has one of the busiest stations in all of Melbourne as it services both metropolitan and regional train lines, as well as freight transportation. In accordance with the Melbourne 2030 plan, I envisions Footscray to boast CBD type jobs and commercial services, a strong and diverse retail sector, specialised goods and services, significant opportunities for housing redevelopment, as well as vibrant centres of community activities with a range of public facilities. I strongly believe that developing Footscray is essential to not only maintain its economic productivity, but to also improve it. As its population is expected to double from just over 13,000 residents in the next 20 years, my main priority and is the well-being and prosperity of local residents and also business owners. Now, I'd like to hear any thoughts and ideas regarding the development of Footscray.
From an economist's point of view, my research has identified a change in employment trends. Now, this is the current planning scheme. As we can see on the new scheme, the new activity centre zone strongly features a rise in the following areas: retail, healthcare, education and training, and it also pushes out the residential sector to the fringes of the activity centre. This has resulted in a decline in the manufacturing and industrial sectors in Footscray, which historically were the predominant areas of employment for local residents. As we can see from this graph, in the past 5 years there's been a strong decline in manufacturing with 5% less employment than the 5 years prior, whilst retail, education and training employment has grown approximately twofold.
Is there any further comments on that from anyone?
If you refer back to the map of the new activity centre, I've noticed that existing residential land has been identified as the new activity centre, and I'm worried about where you're expecting to relocate the current residents. The council has noted that the future development of Footscray is for the prosperity and well-being of local residents and business owners. However, I can only see that the plan is for the well-being of businesses and not residents.
Yeah, absolutely. We are really focusing on creating a balance between commercial as well as residential land use and creating that sort of equilibrium, I guess you could say. We are aiming to do this by promoting more intensive redevelopment of underutilised land in appropriate precincts, as well as encouraging I guess you could say, diverse range of housing across the activity centre. Okay. From a property perspective, would you have anything to add on that?
From a property investment perspective, through my analysis of the Plan of Melbourne Strategic Direction for 2030, I found the following in relation to Footscray. There are 4 main factors that must be considered and satisfied to ensure a growing Footscray achieves proper functionality. These factors are listed within the presentation, also detailed with the relevant authorities they are serviced by. Now, as you can see, government and council facilities are currently serviced by Centrelink and Maribyrnong City Council, while health facilities are currently serviced by Footscray Western Hospital. Educational facilities are currently serviced by Victoria University, while commercial activity is our final factor. Now, under my assumption listed in green, these factors will all continue to grow by relevant authorities as the suburb gradually strives to develop. However, listed in red, I believe we should focus on commercial activity as the most required and the most profitable scenario for Footscray. As you can see, broken down further, commercial activity has the following 3 sectors, being retail, office and apartments. Now, retail currently serviced by Footscray Plaza, with the likes of High Point Shopping Centre also falling into the same catchment, will be well serviced with minor retail being developed over time. However, through my studies I've found there is a real lack of quality office buildings in Footscray. To ensure that there is an employment shift from manufacturing and food services to administrative roles and support, I believe office space is deemed crucial in the planning scheme. To facilitate a projected population increase of approximately 13,000, Footscray will require additional housing in the form of apartments to facilitate the influx of new citizens. It is these two sectors, labelled in red, which I believe will be the most profitable for investors and developers, along with meeting the requirements for housing population and employment sector shifts.
Now, Callum, from a community perspective, what's your sort of feeling towards the high-rise apartment developments and other residential land within the centre?
I can see why, with a growing population, building upwards would be your only strategy, yet you cannot guarantee that the apartments will be 3 or 4 bedroom homes that are needed to bring up a growing family. There will not be outdoor space that a child should have. It will essentially be an extension of the CBD.
Yeah, just to comment further on that, I'd just like to add that Victoria University is the major educational provider in the area. And as it continues growing, the number of students and staff that are looking for housing, and specifically apartments, it will lead to an increase in demand in the housing market.
Okay. Yeah, Cam, that's a fair point, but my overall major concern is regarding sort of a pricing perspective. Could you fill me in more on that, please, Alec?
Yeah, Zach, so going back on what Cameron was saying, obviously Victoria University is going to be having an increase in demand for student apartments, and as student apartments go, they're relatively well priced. So the concern that you're showing for an increase in price due to maybe proximity to the CBD, I don't think will relatively impact the Footscray market.
So, following on from what Malik was saying, I'm concerned that with increased development there are going to be sustainability challenges such as increased noise, more traffic and more pollution problems. Does the council have any take on how to address these issues?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we've worked on plans to sort of address these issues, but overall we need to be realistic about it. Obviously there is going to be some congestion with traffic, obviously going to be pollution, but especially in today's society it's especially important to reduce our economic footprint and improve our sustainability. But once again, we need to be realistic and we're endeavouring to do the best we can. Alright guys, I think that's all about the time we have today. Is there any other issues or points anyone would like to raise? Go.
No.
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 Go.
Fantastic. Well, I think that'll do us. I'll pass this recording on to my colleague Hemi, who will be able to further review this, and hopefully we can reach a conclusion which will satisfy all of us. Good afternoon.
Go.
I want a better Footscray.
I want a better Footscray.
I want a better Footscray.
I'll make a better Footscray.